Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. I hope everyone is doing amazing. I hope everyone's had an amazing weekend as well. Before we get into this video, I just want to quickly mention the background isn't looking the best. We are currently reforming this office room, getting rid of the bed, getting a sofa, and creating it into a little content slash office room. So it is a mess at the moment. So I do apologize, but I hope everyone is doing good. This is your daily market outlook for the 11th of August. I am Coach Liam, Coach Chambers, Liam, whatever you want to call me. It doesn't really matter. But just before we do get into it, make sure that you guys have got your subscribe buttons on, your notifications button turned on, and just showing any love on these videos. So as always, the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my video should be considered financial investment or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Any past performances also discussed on these videos do not guarantee future results. Understand that you are responsible for your own financial decisions. So, with that being said, let's get straight into the markets and see what is happening as of today. I think you guys should be able to see my screen yet. Okay, perfect. So looking at the news for this week, obviously if you look at Monday, there's nothing red folded today at all. And then going into Tuesday, we obviously have Australian dollar red folder news, and then we have US dollar red folder news around 2:30. And then as you guys can see, we have US dollar red folder news at 2:30 on Thursday, which is unemployment claims, and then Friday as well, which you guys can currently see. So with that in mind, looking at today, nothing at all in regards to red folder news. Let's see what we can see from a dollar perspective. So just quickly popping onto that daily time frame, you can see that the structure of what's going on right now is we've got this higher low, and we've got this higher high. It's our daily change of trend. So as of right now, yes, this is my preferred demand area on the daily time frame. But if you look, we have this little candle of interest where the wick here and the wick here meets. That is a little trap area in which obviously the market is reacting currently out of. So as of right now, the market is in this daily candle of interest. Yes, we still have imbalance below that as well, which we can obviously see pretty clearly inside of that daily demand area, pretty much here. So that's something that we can keep in mind. Going into the 4 hour, what can we see? Well, you can see this pretty clear. We had the uptrend, and now we're in this downtrend. In this area here, it looks a lot different to this. If you look, we have bigger moves, obviously happening, little mini pullbacks, and then we have 1 or 2 candles that cause big structure breaks, 1 candle pullback, big move again. So you can see we have a lot of a more impulsive trend going on, whereas at this moment here, it's not really been the most trendiest, if we should say. So yeah, obviously right now I'm inside of this range where you can see the red line is. So we've currently got, let's just zoom in. For me, this red line here is my, so let me submit that, is my lower high. This is my lower low. You can see the market's come up. In fact, I'm going to go down to the 1 hour time frame and talk about it. You can see the market has basically come into this 1 hour demand supply area and moved away. Pretty clear to see. You can see the market's tapped in, filled in this imbalance, and then we slowly, started to move away from there. So obviously you got to understand that, yes, that is our zone that we're in. The one thing that I just want to make sure you guys keep an eye on is, if you look at what's happened here, we built up a lot of liquidity from Friday, and then we built up these Asia lows from obviously yesterday. We had this Asia low created and then moved up. Now we've come in, tapped into this demand where this imbalance also was, and now we're getting that bullishness away. So for me personally, I'm going to be waiting to see what happens in and around this area here. Because if we can see, if we can see something like this into here, movement away, and then obviously look for the shorts, that would be ideal. But then also understand that, it is a valid demand area. So if we do get, the bullishness carrying on from here, then we can obviously make another decision to look for longs on a dollar. So that is just something that I want to keep an eye on. Of course, if you look at this right now, let's say the market was to basically come down and start bullishness, it'd be from this area here for me. So it'll be interesting to see which one, obviously works out going into today with the US dollar. Hopefully that makes sense. Going into Euro USD, we've seen something pretty similar where obviously we look at the 4 hour just quickly. You can see that the market is almost tapped into that daily supply. Didn't quite reach into filling the rest of this imbalance, but we have tapped into the imbalance on a daily and pretty much filled it in. Can we see more bullishness? Well, yeah, we potentially could do. But as of right now, what can we look for? Well, on the 1 hour, you can see that we have obviously this 4 hour, structure here, but the 1 hour we had a change of trend. So if I just quickly go down, you can see that, the 1 hour was trending, higher, low, higher, high, and then we broke below. Come back in, filled in this 4 hour supply and 1 hour supply, which is actually here. There we go. And then obviously tapped lower, come into low. Instead of breaking this, it went into this demand area here, and now we're slowly starting to move away. So the one thing that stuck out to me is, if I notice what I just said on the dollar, where I said the dollar basically took out these lows, So if you look, it basically took, that's Friday's London low, and then obviously Asian low as well. So it took them lows, and obviously this was Friday New York as well, filled in an imbalance, tapped into this demand, and then getting that movement away. It's the same scenario here. You guys can probably see that this 1 hour demand area here, this 1 hour demand area is where the market is, supply area is where the market is currently reacting from. So if you look, we've built up liquidity. This is all Friday Asian session. That's Friday New York session. Market comes up, taps in, and now we're getting that movement away. So all I'm going to be doing is keeping an eye on how we react from basically this area here, seeing how it reacts from here, and obviously with the dollar as well. And obviously seeing then if we do get the bullishness away from there, because demand, could we see this? If not, the next area would be obviously, let's say that if the market pulls back, to then carry on downwards. So that's the two scenarios I'm looking out for, seeing what the dollar does first, and then making my decision from there will be at my best of interest. So let's see how that is. If I just go to the 2, that should be a 2 hour supply. Yeah, 2 hour supply here. Okay, so let's see how it reacts. Let's see if supply or demand wins from Euro USD. Keep an eye on that. GBP USD, let's see what's going on. Pretty simple and pretty clear. It's a bit more of a structure. If you look at the 4, you can see that we want to come into this daily supply, which we haven't quite. Market's just been extremely trending. You drop down to the 1, and you can see that we have basically just clearly, been trending up. What we did here was, you can see we built up some liquidity. We tapped in almost in this demand area, faked away, come back down, took out the early buyers, then we moved away. Now we've got this area here. So from this range to this higher low to this higher high. So if you look, 4 hour demand area is here, and my 1 hour demand area is going to be around here. So as of right now, that's all I'm interested in for GBP USD is simple. Now, what can we potentially see happen is, are we going to get the same scenario as this here, where does the market build up, tap in early in London? So do we, which we're doing now, do we come in, tap in, start moving away? People move to break even, people have the stop losses somewhere around here. Then do we dip, and then do we go? That's something that we can potentially see happen here, maybe. Because it happens over and over. Look, if you come in, the market obviously creates, fakes out, we then dip, and then we go. So we can see something like this. If you look, this demand area here, market then, slowly moves away, doesn't go fully, dips, goes into the deeper part, and then we get that true movement away. So let's see if we can see that for GBP USD going into today. That'd be interesting. AUD USD. So for me personally, if you look at it from the 1 hour and the 4 hour if we just quickly look, you can see the 4 hour range is pretty simple from this low to this higher high. So as of right now, we are bullish on this area. So we've tapped into this demand. We've now got this movement away. But since we moved this, got this movement away, we've obviously left a lot of imbalance here. So we left a lot of imbalance below. We've created pretty much equal lows. So, what I would prefer to happen is if we're going to be bullish with the Australian dollar, I prefer a dip either into this imbalance or into this demand. So let's say we either get this or this, and then obviously we get that movement away. So it's either going to be from the imbalance or it will be from the demand area here. As of right now, that's what I'm interested in from a bullish perspective. From a bears, remember what I just said about this demand area, taking out Asian lows, taking out London, taking out Sunday Asian low or Monday Asian low, whatever, and then Friday London, Friday London session, sorry. Obviously, with that being said, it's the same scenario with AUD USD, but vice versa. We've had, a little bit of a built up of liquidity here, and then the market on the 15-minute is coming to, if you look, all during Friday. Friday, we've created all these highs coming into obviously early hours Asian highs. We then obviously have this, and that's where the market is moved out from as we speak. So for me though, as of right now, I'm not looking to buy or sell with AUD USD. I'll be making a decision from here if it makes sense on the dollar as well. USD CAD. So USD CAD's a little bit more different. So if you look at the higher time frame, you'll be able to notice that we have this lower high, this lower low, and we still have some imbalance left that we can come and attack here. Some imbalance here that we can come and attack. But if you look on the fall, we are kind of in this area as of right now, this supply area here, where this imbalance was, and that's where the market has been basically slowly reacting. Now, of course, if you look at the structure with what's going on, maybe we'll just go down to the one, you'll be able to see that the range that we're in is from this higher low to this higher high. Very, very clear to see. 1 second. There we go. So that's the range that we're in. So we're expecting bullishness, of course, from here. We've had a market, basically create a beautiful lower time frame downtrend. Now, of course, I'm not too sure fully on what we would be looking for with a bullish. I think if we come lower than this, the next area would be obviously around this area here, which would be a 15-minute demand. So that'd be interesting, of course. But if you look, we are in like this 15-minute demand area here as well. So I'm going to mark these ballparks 15-minute demands. So it'd be interesting to see. But same again, as what I was just been talking about the dollar, it's done it on New Zealand, US dollar, where market has basically been creating these highs. We took out this high coming almost into London. We then had obviously this dump off. We have this engulfing candle. Market retraces, taps into this imbalance in this demand supply, and then melts off. So market has been doing its thing. The one thing that does stick out to me is the fact that this is a huge trend line. So because this is a huge trend line, what does that mean? That means there's a lot of money, there's a lot of stop losses, above these highs, which if you guys know smart money, you know that the institutions who move these markets are always seeking liquidity, always seeking, people's money, people's stop losses. So, if that is the case, if dollar makes sense, then can we go bullish from here to attack all these highs? Or, of course, bullish from here and same scenario, attack all of this trendline liquidity. So that's that. USD CAD. USD CAD, USD CAD. You can see we're in a bullish range on the daily. Still got a lot of imbalance to come and fill. If you look at the 4 hour, you can see the market's come reacting out of this demand area, which is fresh, but you know, I don't know, man. Like if I look at this daily range, for instance, are we even at 50%? Yeah, to be fair, yeah, we're at 50%. So I always believe that anything below 50% on a bullish range, obviously can be the catapult to go and create a new higher high. So obviously, if it makes sense for the dollar to stick and go bullish, which is what we're talking about, to go and carry on from this candle of interest, then of course that would give all reason for USD CAD. And as you can see from this demand area, the USD CAD is, currently moving away from here. So we look at the 1 hour, what can we see? Well, it's just pretty clear, pretty clear. You can see that obviously we come down, we failed to break this low. We then have obviously been moving up and we're now creating this new range as we speak. So we've got about 30 minutes left on here. And then obviously if that candle finishes as it is, this will be a new range that we can keep an eye on. And then obviously if the market comes back and is polite, probably look at the 4, might be a bit clearer. It'll just probably come into this 4 hour demand area. So that'll be one 4 hour demand area. But then obviously understand that if we do dip below because of these lows that we have created here, if we do dip below, then of course what we can expect is the market to basically retrace into this lower area here. So let's see how we rock and roll with that. USD CHF, not really been the cleanest as you guys can see. If you look at the daily time frame from here to here, we're in this daily candle of interest still. If you look how many days we've been in here now, we've been in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our 7th day in this candle of interest. So again, it shows it's a valid area. The one thing that I'm obviously just waiting to see is a breakout of either side. Are we just gonna, see some sort of breakout so then we can obviously look for the longs? Or vice versa, where can we see some breakout where we can look for the shorts into here? Sitting on your hands and waiting is something that can be a pain in the ass, but it's something that we obviously have to do. So if we look at USD CHF, like I said, we're in this area right now. Nothing clear for me to even talk on as we speak. Again, just wait for what the dollar is going to do. If the dollar goes bullish, then obviously then you can see if we can get a breakout. Let's say the dollar goes bullish and we get a breakout of this, you could then potentially look to obviously long this and then vice versa. If it's obviously goes short. Now USD Japanese yen is actually pretty nice, to be fair, meaning structure wise, because if you look at the daily, we have this daily higher high, higher low, higher high. So we've got this daily range, this daily candle here. And we've obviously been stalling pretty much all last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 days. So we've been stalling in this area. Now looking at the 4 hour, what can we see? Well, what we can see is we're obviously waiting for a significant break now. 4 hour structure, let's just go from here. You can see we create a lower low, lower high, lower low, come up, tapped into this supply, failed to go and create a new lower low. And you can see that the absorption in these wicks are telling us that we could potentially see more bullish. So we have had this scenario as we speak. So my whole thing with this is I think that we could potentially be going bullish from this area here, from this 4 hour demand area. And again, that would align with if the dollar goes bullish from here as well. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for personally, either from inside this 4 hour demand. It's either going to be from this 1 hour, which is pretty much where we're at right now, or this 1 hour below, because we also have the imbalance inside of here. So it will be interesting to see how shit moves from these areas. In fact, let's just get rid of that 4 hour. You guys should know that we're in this 4. So, it'd be interesting to see if we move away from here or if we do dip below to take these lows, which are Friday's Asian lows. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, we wait for the dollar, but you're going to get just the bullishness away from here potentially, or we're going to obviously dip, fill in this imbalance, potentially top into this demand, and then go. So that's what I'll be waiting for with USD Japanese yen. Pardon me. Other than that, guys, that is pretty much it for today. Obviously it's Monday. We'll have to be patient, see what obviously happens with today. But other than that, that is, all I've got for the major pairs. I appreciate every single one of you as always. I hope you guys have an amazing trading day, and we will catch up tomorrow on this daily market outlook. Take care.